Ladies and gentlemen, Christians and atheists.
Where?
It's my pleasure to introduce Adam Reakes, the President of the Australian Foundation of Atheism, and long-standing Australian organisation that is still standing today and still working hard. And Adam is going to give us his talk, Upselling to Reality. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Adam and give him a round of applause, because I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not so sure that it's going to be wonderful, but we'll see how it goes. Now, can everybody read this? Can you see that from where you are? Yes. Because the texts, there's a couple of slides in here that are a little more compact.
It's even got some flaw in your slide, wouldn't it?
Yes, here we go. Where am I? A poorly formed thought process by Adam Reakes. Strap yourselves in, thrill seekers. It's going to be fun. So I'm Adam. What have I done? A couple of bits and pieces here and there. I did a podcast for a number of years called Herd Mentality. I did about 110 episodes of it. A portion of that went to women in developing countries to further their education. Guests on that, many people you wouldn't know, but there'd be a few names in there that you would, like Dr. Carl and Ricky Gervais, been on the show. We talk nonsense, make terrible jokes, and it's loosely based around critical thinking. Following that, I assisted in putting together a tour for 3 guys from the US. So Seth Andrews, Matt Dillahunty and Aaron Ra. And we did Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, and more or less sold out all 3 venues. And that was under the banner of the Atheist Foundation of Australia. And now, they foolishly elected me president of this gaggle. And here I am today. So thank you very much for having me. So I'm a terrible salesman. This has been my entire career. The stuff that I actually sell, and I don't know how well you can read that, so I'll just read out a couple of washing machines, ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, tube straighteners, fireplaces, you name it. If it plugs into a PowerPoint, there's a good chance I've sold it before. But what I actually want to sell is reason, skepticism, rationalism, reality, humanism, lots of other isms. All of these things. These are concepts that can be sold. So I'll tell you a story. When I worked in retail, people are rude without knowing it. They don't realise. I'd go up to somebody who's just walked into the store, they've had a wander around for a little bit, and I'd say, "Hi guys, how are you?" And they go, "Nah, I'm just looking." I go, "Firstly, that's quite rude. I asked how you are, not what you're doing. Secondly, the just looking sections down the road at Bingley, the just buying sections here, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave." So yeah, not a good salesman. But as soon as they realised I was having a bit of a laugh, it added a human element to the equation. I wasn't just a robot. So these are the techniques, these are a few of the techniques I'll cover off in brief. But the goals overall of this talk are surviving the introduction with whomever you are choosing to speak, be it flat earther, Christian, whoever. Their opinions, their belief system differs to yours. How do we better engage with these people? Become their new best friend, that's important. Qualify the customer, sell the product. At the end of the day, we want to sell skepticism, reasoning, humanism, whatever concept you have to hang your hat on. Everyone should be a winner at the end of this. We should have somebody who believes in less nonsense in running around in society, and we'll have done our job. We can feel good about what we've done. So we're going to become salespeople. And for fun, we're going to compare all of this to appliances, in particular washing machines. because I'm going to bet you $1 that you're using your washing machine incorrectly. Now, I can't read any of that, but this is the sales process. You know, from when you meet the person right at the top there to breaking the ice, having a bit of a chit chat, qualifying them, finding out what they want, then suggesting things to them, overcoming their objections. Because everything that you put in front of that customer, they're going to go, no, this guy's trying to rip me off. It's a terrible idea, I don't want a part of it. You have to overcome that objection. I'll get into all of that in a little bit. But has anyone here heard of Peter Boghossian?
Yes, I think so.
Yes. So Peter is, he wrote a book called A Manual for Creating Atheists. He came over to Australia, I helped him out with a couple of speaking events and so forth. We got to know each other quite well. So I wrote a book that I never published called, funnily enough, Upselling to Reality. And in it, I have this line: nobody ever bought a car from a guy they didn't like. There's a reason for it. You've got to have trust. You've got to trust the person you're buying from. And Peter uses this quote all the time. So I've got there a packet of cornflakes. This is important because when you go into the supermarket and you spend 2 minutes looking at a $2 packet of cornflakes that's going to last you for a week, or a $2.50 packet of cornflakes that's going to last you for a week, you're not going to spend a lot of time. It's not mentally draining for most people. You'll make the decision, you'll pick it up, you put it in your basket, you walk out the door. It's not a difficult, the cost of that purchase is so irrelevant to you, the decision's pretty much already made. But what about a car? How much time do you spend deciding on a car? It's probably going to be a month or two. You're going to research the fuel efficiency, you're going to have this car for 5 or 10 years. There's the cost of running it over time, there's the environmental impact, these are things that people think about. So the cost of that purchase is significantly higher, not just in dollar value, but time. Your house takes about 6 months. So it's 3 months to shop around. You've got to determine whether it's you're too close to your family, in my case, give them a bit of distance, or too far. Is it close enough to schools, shops, utilities, these things? Then you've got several months worth of dealing with the bank and signing your soul over to Westpac for the next 30 years of your life. This is a very high cost of purchase. You're going to spend a lot of time thinking about it, making that decision. Now we've got a photo there of Joel Osteen's teeth. And for anyone unfamiliar with Joel Osteen, he's an evangelical light bulb changer over in the United States. And loves Jesus. Can't get enough of it. When the hurricane happened over in the US, very much near his house and his church, that can seat 40,000 people, how many people did he open the doors to? Because you can count the number on 0 fingers. And for anyone who can't read that, it says, do not swallow anything Satan is trying to force down your throat. Jesus comes first. I don't think he read that before he published this. So, meet my friends. These are the Jehovah's Witnesses. I made a critical error when I first encountered the Jehovah's Witnesses when I moved to Sydney, because they came up and I invited them in. I said, oh, g'day guys. Now this is me being a bad salesman. What I did was invited them in, sat them down, strapped them in, tied them up, made them a coffee, made them feel welcome. I'm genuinely interested in what you believe, but more importantly, why you believe it. And I hit the little thing on my watch and said, tell me about Noah's Ark. And I got 15 minutes of, well, you know the story, so I don't need to go over it again. But at 15 minutes, I hit the timer on my watch again and said, guys, you're guests in my house, I appreciate the explanation. As incomprehensible as it was. It's my turn. And I hit the stopwatch again, and I gave them a 15-minute crash course in evolution, which is apostate material, and they cannot expose themselves to that. And I didn't give them a way out. It would have been rude. Now, they started sweating razor blades, the two elders who were there. They were 17 and 19 elders. But I didn't change their opinions. I made them very, very nervous about knocking on the next door. You don't know what's going to happen. So,
Sorry, I'm a bit curious. Why couldn't they leave? What was the reason?
I bolted the door. No, I'd made them welcome. I'd given them 15 minutes. They'd given me their 15 minutes. I was giving...
It used social pressure, I guess.
Yes, a manipulative sales tactic.
Okay.
Look, it's not quite as I tell the story. They were quite free to leave. And I made it clear at the beginning, you know, if this is too much, then you're welcome to go. But understand, I've given you my time. I think it would be fair to give me yours. So, don't threaten. Pressure sales don't work. Again, you've never bought a car from a guy you didn't like. So, this is how I encounter my new friends now. Out on the street, they've got their little stand there with the books and magazines. The books and magazines. I get to read the title of the magazine and find out what today's particular topic of nonsense is. And how do we know God exists? All right, let's talk about that. I'll buy them a coffee from the takeaway shop. It's $3 a coffee. Who cares? $6 for two people to have their attention for 15 minutes and try and introduce some doubt. That's worth $6 to me. So these guys, I'm never going to sell them atheism or agnosticism or critical thinking, but I can introduce a seed of doubt in that 15 minutes. That's my sales goal when dealing with beliefs. So, here is a little bit of sales jargon. Try and stay awake for this one. The downsell, cross-sell and upsell. So, a downsell is never our goal. We don't want to do this. Downsell is the lazy man's option. It leaves the customer worse off and leaves us worse off. And I'm talking now about a washing machine. So when somebody walks in and they've seen in the catalogue a $500 washing machine, I go, geez, I don't have that one in stock, I've got the $450 one, do you want that? And they go, yeah, all right. Off the truck to the till, right up the sale. That's a bad sales tactic. If you had the time and the energy, you would cross-sell and sell them something away from what we don't have in stock or what they originally wanted, but something that's about the same value that we do have. And I can meet their needs. They're happy they've got a washing machine, I've got their money. Cool. Upselling, this is an investment of time and energy. A lot. You have to basically educate that customer to my level of proficiency with appliances and give them very good reasons as to why they should spend more money. So, this, again, better outcomes for them because they get a better washing machine. It'll save them money over time. Certainly, if you bought it off me, it would, but I can't speak for the other sales guy down the road. But better outcomes for both parties. You know, I'm going to earn a few extra bucks. They'll get a better machine, improved margin for me, better commission. Cool. But what about us, everyone in this room, in terms of sales? We don't want to downsell. You're dealing with an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous, religious organisation. First step, acknowledge you've got a problem. Second step, there's nothing you can do about it. You've got to hand it all over to God. Jesus is the only person who can help you. That's a downsell. That's the lazy man's option. The lazy man's way out. There you go, AA. What about a cross-sell if we're dealing with somebody with a differing belief? We're going to sell toward... Actually, I'll give you an example. So the JWs and the Scientologists are really good at this. When they're out there canvassing, you know, trotting the pavement, canvassing for people, new victims, as it were, they're not going for atheists. We've made up our minds. We know. Well, there's a high likelihood there is no God. We're not the target audience. For the Jehovah's Witnesses, the target audience is Christians, Catholics, Anglicans, people who have already bought a bad set of ideas, but they want to switch to another set of bad ideas. That's a cross-sell. So what's us? What do? We've got to upsell. We've got to sell them a better product. Again, investment of time and energy. Hopefully, both parties get something out of it. We've done our job well, we can feel good. There are fewer terrible beliefs roaming around society. So upsell it to reality. Some more jargon, good, better, best. This is probably something many people here have heard of. Good, better, best.
Bosch has got that as their pitch.
I like you. So what's good? We don't talk about bad products because we're in sales, right? Bad products scare people off. If you're a retailer who sells bad products, you're a bad retailer. So we only sell good. Good's the entry level. Then you got better, and then you got best. So good is the ones the customer saw in the catalogue. That's called a loss leader. We want to get them through the door, have them an opportunity to sell up. That product is okay. You know, it'll do the job for the time being. You buy that washing machine, you'll put clothes in it that are dirty. You probably get clothes out of it that are clean. Doesn't cost you much. We'll call this one the Samsung Dodge Master. And if you've read the news about which washing machines blow up and which ones don't, there's a company that starts with S and ends in Samsung. You may be aware of. So that's good, right? It does the job. It's going to last 13 months out of the 12-month warranty. What's better? Well, spend a few more bucks, you'll get more benefits, you'll get a better built machine, it might spin faster. It'll be European, most likely, but I'm not racist. This is the disclaimer. I treat all appliances equally. It doesn't matter where they're built or how they get into this country. By boat, by plane. But the best washing machine will save you money on water, energy. It's quieter, get better cleaning results. It's a better outcome for the customer. Hopefully, if they spend that extra money, because they'll get a product like a Miele or an ASCO washing machine that lasts for 20 years. So instead of having to come in 5 years and buy another washing machine, do the whole thing again, installation, removal of the old one, they've done it once, they've done it properly, the customer's happy, they never have to put up with me again. What are we doing about it? Well, good. What's the stock standard? Somebody's got a belief already. Okay, that's good. But they're statistically not likely to fly a plane into a building or blow themselves up just because they have a religious belief. So whatever their belief system currently in place, let's call that good. But what's better? If we can sell them away from that existing belief system that we see is flawed, plant the seed of doubt, skepticism. But the best requires an enormous amount of time and energy for us to invest into somebody to deconvert them. Better outcomes for both of us, one would hope. And complete deconversion, or the introduction of how to think, not what to think. That'd be a great outcome when you're dealing with the Jehovah's Witnesses or Scientologists or whoever. So here we have the Dodge Master 3000. This is the last sort of jargony bit. So for anyone nodding off out there, hang in there. So feature, function, benefit. This is repeated in the salesperson's brain throughout the whole sale. You're going to do it surreptitiously to the customer all the time. So what's the feature? In this case, it's got a high spin speed. It's got a big sticker on it that says high spin speed. And in this case, the sticker costs more than the motor. What's the function? So what's the function of the high spin speed? Well, it spins at 1,600 RPM. 1,600 times a minute. That's pretty fast. What's the benefit? This is where the customer can relate to it. Less time on the clothesline. So in Australia, it's not going to bleach as heavily. So chock is full of UV rays out there. It's hideous. Less time in the dryer. If you're one of those sick, twisted people in Australia who own a clothes dryer, when we have a free one that's burning up in the sky 8 minutes away from us, there's no reason to own a clothes dryer in Australia. But anyway, but reduced time and effort. That's the takeaway from this. The benefit is that. So what's our feature? Well, rationalism, skepticism, agnosticism, atheism, other-ism, schism, all of these different things. Feminism, that's an important one. That's our feature. What does it do though? These help us make better decisions in many aspects of your life, and hopefully the lives of those around you. Especially something like feminism. If you read the actual dictionary definition of that, everyone should be on board with it, because it's brilliant. What's the benefit of this? The benefit to the end user, the person you're talking to, is you are less likely to be fooled or scammed by others. What's not to like about that benefit? That's a pretty good benefit. Again, you can be more helpful to other people without having to resort to thoughts and prayers, because we all know how effective that is. And I mentioned earlier the overcoming objections bit. So I get this all the time, because we've got the top loader washing machine here, we've got the front loader washing machine, and people are going, no, I don't want to bend down to get my clothes out of the front loader. So, well, hang on, you've already got a top loader, how do you get the clothes out? Well, I bent, So it's got a slow spin speed, you bend your back, right down the bottom of the drum and lift out something heavy using your back, the bit that you're not meant to bend. Whereas with the front loader, basket, drag it out, stick it in, it's spun faster, the clothes are drier, you lift it once, do it with your knees, waltz out to the clothesline. I can't open the door once I've started the cycle. Well, 20 years ago that was true. The world's changed, yes you can open the door on a front loader now. It's more expensive. That's true. Until you factor in the running costs over a 20-year period. And it works out to be significantly cheaper than a top loader. It takes much longer to do a wash, and I can't fit much in there. Well, a 6 kilo front loader is about the equivalent of a 10 kilo top loader. So you only have to do one wash in the front loader that would take 2 in the top. Every reason, every objection, I give a reason, overcome that objection. And if they find another objection, you stop, you overcome it, and you proceed. So, in terms of beliefs, I fear death. Well, that's a pretty hard objection to overcome. Don't have an answer for that. Let's try and overcome it. You know, what was life like before you were born? Because it's probably going to be a lot like that after the fact.
Well, we had the Mark Twain quote earlier. Which
Yes, so there are some people tuning in. Okay, my social circle depends on my religion. Yep, that's a real claim, and it's a big thing. You remember John Osteen there, the cost of leaving your religion? Some countries, that cost is your life. Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Kashmir, these places. So the social circle depending on the religion, that's true, but doubt anyone here is religious, and yet here we are. There are alternatives, so overcome the objection. I can't accept that we're all alone. I think you're going to have to accept that. Once I start to question things, where does it stop? Hopefully never is the correct answer.
Well, I have an answer to that, but maybe I'll wait till later.
Yeah, I'd like to continue learning things. Being told in a 2,000-year-old book how the world works is not a really good way of learning the truth. If I can learn something new and interesting, that's cool. I can't be moral without God. Well, I hope that's not true. And I'll read that, because this is from Tracy Harris of the Atheist Experience. You either have a God who sends child rapists to rape children, or you have a God who simply watches and says, when you're done, I'm going to punish you. If I could stop a person from raping a child, I would. That's the difference between me and your God. So she's very good. I can't be moral without God. Well, Ricky Gervais puts this quite eloquently. He says, I don't believe in a God, and I go around and I rape and pillage as much as I want. which is 0.
Yeah.
So, we're back to the chart, overcoming objections. The point of that was, even though it was illegible, you've got to keep overcoming. If there is one objection that remains, you will not sell a product. So, closing the sale. This is almost the end, guys. Hang in there. For me, closing the sale is actually saying, right, if I do the right product at the right price, you'd probably buy it from me, wouldn't you? They go, yep. I go, cool, I've got the approval. Let's waltz up to the cash desk. I'll do up an invoice, take your money, see you later. It's not quite that clear cut for us as secularists, feminists, humanists, etc. Did we introduce doubt? The ability to doubt those claims that they believe. Because that would be a partial sale. If they can walk away from the conversation and go, well, geez, maybe the earth didn't flood, then that's a partial sale. As far as I'm concerned, it's a pretty good effort, especially if it's a 15-minute chat you've had with them from a lifetime of this particular belief system. Did you teach them a critical thinking technique? Something that they can walk away with, or a website with all, like yourlogicalfallacyis.com. Shows you what the logical fallacy is, gives you an example. Did you show that to them? If so, and they understand it, that's a partial sale. Did you change an opinion? Did we go from the earth is flat to maybe the earth's banana shaped, tending towards spherical? That's a partial sale. And I'll probably be pretty happy with it. So, here we are. You reckon this bloke's going to buy much off me? Probably not.
Too much at stake.
This is Israel Folau. Loves a good chat about homosexuals. Can't get enough of it. Turned it into a business venture, as it were. And now we have a religious discrimination bill on the cards into its second reading. We need to fight it. So, thanks for coming to my TED talk. Sorry, can't use the other one for copyright reasons. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thank you.